untraveled doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know when it is time. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. One star, would not recommend that we go far from here. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. Stop the world.
A music podcast for the culture. Wild, wild thoughts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wild Bunch Presents Wild, Wild Thoughts. As you can see right now, we tuned in on the side. You know, we got Oprah up right now. She's speaking at the DNC, so we start off talking about that. And we'll check in, periodically to hear what they're talking about. Like, I might click in and let y'all hear a little bit of Tim Wall's speech or whatever. We'll check in as we go. But just to start off, man, the DNC started on Monday night, now Wednesday night. What are your thoughts so far, B-Ray, on what you've seen in the DNC?
I've been, really impressed, man, with the mood. You know what I mean? How positive and upbeat everything is, but not overly like rose-colored glasses. You know what I mean? Just focus. The amount of focus in the messaging, I think, is cool as hell. I'm really impressed with some of the speakers that they've had, and just the way that it's put together. We were talking before the show just now about how I think the curation was just dope, and the blend of the old and the new, and the passing of the torch type of vibe that they presented with Joe Biden. And overall, I just think it's just very, very cool, very positive. Man, I'm looking forward to seeing how it culminates with the Harris speech tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what? I think the beginning, I feel like they were trying to figure out. It almost felt like, even though it was the passing of the torch, there still was a little bit of layover from what maybe the Biden DNC would have looked like, because it felt like they was trying to juggle both on that first night, which it feel like that's why I ended up going so late. You know what I mean? Because I think Biden didn't go on till 11:30 Eastern time, which is only 8:30 for us. But I know the East Coast is, and he did an hour and some change. So I think you saw a little bit of that, like the first night of like, this is probably what it would have looked like if Biden was running, and we still got to iron, what Kamala's going to do, and we got to do that passing of the torch. But I think after that, they kind of found their footing. And even though they went late Monday night, I will say it felt like the energy was still there, even through Biden's speech. It felt like the energy was still there in the building. I know a lot of the conservative outlets were just like, oh, they put Biden on so late, and they was trying to like, they disrespected him, this. But I feel like nobody who actually watched it, I don't think they really felt that way, or the people there, because you know what I'm saying. Like, you can tell when everybody's bored out of their mind, when everybody's ready to go. So I thought they did a good job cleaning it up the next, like Tuesday, like yesterday. I felt like it was a lot more tighter run program, a lot cleaner, and having Barack and Michelle close was masterful. I think they both did an amazing job. They had a lot of memeable moments, as you would say, a lot of viral moments. I think they've been doing a good job, because I know the job of this, they had to do two things with this particular DNC. They had to not only pass the torch and honor Joe Biden, but they also had to roll out a brand new candidate. They had to tell Kamala's story for the people who don't really know her, don't know where she came from, and tell her story as the person who she is, more than just who she is as a candidate. And as you see now, they have these like little interstitials with the people from different places talking about different things. So I think they've been doing a good job as well of telling her story, letting us know about her family life, getting to know, what she's meant to the culture, how she was, her record with the AG. I think they've been doing a really good job of kind of like telling that full story throughout these last couple of days. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought that it was a good move to have the chick from Nevada speak that was also a prosecutor and knew her from those days and was able to speak about that era in her career and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And there has been a lot to personalize her, humanize her, I should say. But really, I think more for the people who don't know her, her record is really more pertinent, and I thought that was a cool strategy to introduce her. I forgot her name, something Costa or something like that, but she was just on a little bit ago. But yeah, I think overall they've handled it well, man. And of course, like you said, Barack and he spiked the ball at the end, and there was nothing more. If anybody would have tried to go on after him, it's like so.
And he had a hard time going on after Michelle though, because she killed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had a tough time going on after her because she smashed it out. Like, she almost could have ended it. You know what I mean? But I think she did a good job of talking to like the heart of the people, talking to the emotion. But then I feel like Barack talked a little more about like the politics of it all, right? Like he gave you a little more meat about it. So it's been interesting to watch Donald Trump respond and to watch him kind of spiraling as he goes. And it feels like, and I don't know if this is intentional, if this is like part of the playbook, but it feels like they're intentionally like poking at his insecurities to get him to keep reacting and get him to stay off message.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing to do. That's the fight strategy, yeah.
Because it seems like everybody in his camp has been saying, hey man, stop with the personal attacks. Just on policy, because if you focus on policy, you have a winning, if he focus on the border and focus on inflation, they're like, you got a winning policy to run on, and he can't seem to help himself. And it's like Barack Obama insulted him, and that really set him off. That's always the one that set him off when Barack say something about him. So today he was like, they told me not to do personal attacks, but they're attacking me. Like, he's taking it so personal, like they never attack nobody, which is so funny to watch him get sensitive over people insulting him, right? So that's been interesting to watch. And again, he got off topic, and I'm like, oh, it feels like they starting to do this on purpose. They talking about crowd sizes, and they talking about this crazy stuff he's saying. They calling them weird, and I feel like that stuff is really actually bothering him. You know what I mean? So that's been interesting to watch, is like his response to all that, man.
It's very, very juvenile responses,
What I will say about what I've seen so far about this DNC as well, what I think is been smart. I don't know who Kamala has on her comms team, but they definitely got somebody young and plugged into the culture for this, because some of the things that they've done, I'm like, having the roll call be done by Cassidy and pass the mic, that's somebody who know what's up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To get Cassidy and even some of the Republican guys, they were like, y'all got us, because it's usually like real boring doing the roll call. Like, they say the speech and then they pass it to the next person. They show if y'all get a chance, look it up. It's all on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. But they have like the side by side of like the Democrats and the Republicans roll call. So it's like really like a movie cut where it's like the super highfalutin, quiet room, and then it go back to the party room with the DNC. So I thought that was smart. Like Portia said, she said they're killing it with the production. Yeah, so I feel like they have been doing a really good job of like doing the serious stuff, but then being tapped into the culture and doing shit that's gonna be viral, like the Law and Order, when they did the Law and Order, but with Donald Trump, having to pass the mic, certain things that have been said in their speeches. And shout out to Jasmine Crockett, man. I think she's a rising star in the Democratic Party. I think she did her thing. She's on a rise, and she got one of those. She reminds me of those powerful voices of like that first Barack when he was just a senator. You know what I mean? Like when he did his speech at the convention, like she has that kind of like rising star appeal. So I would say keep an eye out on her, for the next couple of Democratic conventions. And tonight, you get to see Tim Walz, the VP pick. He's gonna close out tonight. Like I said, if we're still on the air when he comes on, because like I said, they've been going hella late. It's almost 11 o'clock daytime. We gonna check in back and forth and hear a little bit of what he said. I'm with you, Shannon. She said, I love Crockett. I think Crockett is like the homegirl who made it to Senate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, super
Like
smart.
she,
but
like everybody knows somebody like Jasmine Crockett. Like everybody knows somebody like she's smart, but she don't play and she might have hands. You know what I mean? Like, she just might throw hands.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I think that's important. Like I said, I think the Democrats have been doing a good job of trying to get that. We've been talking about this since she entered the race. She's been doing a good job kind of going after that 18 to 34 vote,
yeah,
but while speaking to the base. And I know that Trump is really, really in need of that 18 and 34, but I know what they said. Can you cut the line on pop too? They said Trump has been making some inroads with young black males. He's been making inroads with young black males and gonna have like a bigger chunk of those voters. So because of that, it feels like Kamala's gonna have to either find a way to get some of those young black males back and find a way to speak to them, or she's gonna have to chisel off some more of those suburban white moms to replace that. I think so. She's gonna have to build a coalition, a kind of different coalition in other ways, because there are a lot of disgruntled male black voters when it comes to the Democratic Party, as you guys have seen on the last 2 weeks of our show and who we've had on. But it's interesting because the conversations, V-Ray, that I had with the guys that we had on the last 2 weeks, that's pretty much the conversation. Like, it's like all of them I have with all of them is either based on stuff that's not factual, or is based in, I just don't think a woman should be president. And that's like, you really can't argue with that. Ain't no way to talk policy with somebody that feels like, I just don't think a woman should be president. So how would you make inroads to get those guys back? That's like so staunchly, because like you said, you was like, well, if you're talking about what you feel versus what is actual facts, like we can't. How do we have that conversation?
yeah.
So what do you think the outreach should look like, or do you think she should just try to find other ways?
I think other ways. Right? I mean, trying to get somebody to unlearn something like, I don't think a woman should be, a president. To even come out of your mouth with that in 2024 is just like, I don't see you in 77 days or 76 days or however long it is now, converting that person, but lean into the stuff that that is definitely an Achilles heel for the Republicans, like women's health and abortion, you know what I'm saying, and that sort of thing. Just healthcare in general. The economy is a tough road to hoe for her at the moment, but as far as capturing, people that may be on the fence and be convertible, definitely. Women of all races, so specifically the white, the white suburban chicks who need to get that discreet abortion, or at least have the option to get it, if they need it, and that kind of thing, versus somebody just saying hell no, or even just the philosophy of autonomy over your own body, whatever that equates to. I think is a major selling point. Yeah,
and shout out to Cofield over on Instagram. I don't know why we can't send our Instagram comments over here like we do the other stream. But anyway, Cofield said young black males aren't consistent voters who will vote for Trump, so that won't even be a biggest chunk as they think it might be.
I completely agree.
Shannon said a cohesive plan to put money in their pockets might work. Many fall back on Trump and the stimulus check. That's a good point, Shannon. I think earlier today, Van Jones was saying like, Kamala talks about a lot of government programs. She's like, maybe to get to those young male black voters, you got to talk about helping them build something, helping them own something.
Yeah,
because that's the thing that they're. So like, how do you meet them and talk to them about like, how do we help y'all build? How do we help y'all become owners? How do we help y'all, become a bigger part of society? And I think that might be one of the only ways to get some of those on the fence voters. But V-Ray, you made a very good point demographic wise about just getting more inroads with women of all age, race, creed, and color. Because that's going to be probably her biggest coalition. She does have to clear up the marijuana conviction misinformation. The narrative was on fact checked recently. They also want money, so clear up the. Well, you know what I found, Portia? Even when you clear up that rumor, they still don't believe it. Like, I've had so many conversations where I show dudes like this is what actually happened with her and marijuana. I will say a couple of dudes was like, "Oh, I didn't know," but for the most part, they just be like, "Fuck that." She locking up black men. But
I'll just do excuse me for cutting you off, but I would just do from a marketing standpoint or from my marketing hat, I would just do a fact check commercial about that one bullet point. You know what I'm saying? Say this is what the story is. Here's you can find it, like when you posted the link to the statistics that you were talking about 2 weeks back. Just put it up there. I dare you to fact check this and prove me wrong in a 60-second spot with whatever narration would drive the point home, and that's it. Just run that commercial in the loop with everything else that they're doing from a promotional standpoint. But that addresses that one thing alone. That's a direct target to black voters, black male voters and black voters in general who have the story wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that a national advertisement like that, if you still believe the shit after that, when you got the links to show what the statistics are and challenge somebody to post a link to where the statistics counter that. You know what I'm saying?
well, V-Ray, but have you seen on this show, when we did the show last 2 weeks, it's kind of facts be damned. We were talking to guys for almost 2 hours about the policies they didn't like and da-da-da. But then at the end, it literally came down to, I don't think a woman should be president. You know what I'm saying? Like after all of that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to make those little chinks in the armor and get those fractions of voters that collectively may make the difference and shit like that. If somebody, like you said, a small percentage of the people that you talk to say, "Damn, I didn't know that," and actually, absorb the information, that may be the difference. And you know what I'm saying? And it is factual, so it would appeal to everybody. Is that Pete Buttigieg up there?
Yeah, it's Pete.
So anyway, so I think that's the thing. And then just to back up a little bit, man, on what the stimulus thing that I keep hearing motherfuckers say. That shit is the stupidest reason to vote for somebody. Like you're gonna get a stimulus every 2 weeks or some shit. It was a damn. Even though it may have been,
took an epidemic for you to get a stimulus check.
Man. Yeah, like you gotta have another pandemic, bro, before some shit like that happens. There was a reason why that happened. Okay, it was cool to get some dough in the pocket, but that's not a policy. That's not a thing that happens on a regular basis where people gonna be like, Trump is in office. Did you get your stimulus check this month? Like it's welfare and shit. Like, nigga, you sound stupid, man. If that's one of your big reasons, I saw somebody interviewed today on the street that said that was the reason why they were going to vote for Trump. No other policies, no nothing. I'm down for them stimulus checks. That's in the past, right? And so it's like, anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but that's a stupid ass reason to support any candidate because they got you a check 4 years ago or some shit.
Portia said we still paying interest on them stimulus checks. Ain't no such thing as free money. First of all the people who complain about inflation don't realize that some of that inflation came from stimulus checks. Yeah. It came from the COVID Reduction Act. It came from the COVID aid package of making sure everybody could get tested, vaccinated, making sure they extended unemployment, all that stuff where you had to add trillions just to like wake the economy back up after COVID.
And those businesses, those PPP, those loans.
Yeah, the PPP loans and all that. Yeah, like all that is a part of like this inflation, the supply chain issues, like all this is a part of that. But people, I don't know, it's like they don't draw a direct line to stuff that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like to the logic of where it goes. Shannon Perkins said it wasn't even a lot of money. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all still harping on for $1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah.
Like y'all like, oh, he gave us and then the crazy thing is, again, I tell people like, please take some civics classes or just like watch Schoolhouse Rock. He didn't give you the stimulus checks. And if you go back, because people changing history now, right? I'm like, if you go back and look, Trump actually didn't want to give y'all no stimulus checks.
Nope.
It was the Democratic House and the Congress that wanted to give y'all stimulus checks, and they wanted to give y'all $2,000. Like the people y'all railing against actually wanted to give $2,000. This is all factual. Y'all can go check it. They wanted to give $2,000, and then the Republicans came back and said, "All right, we'll give $400." And then I guess they met in the middle at $1,200. That's what actually happened. And then the checks were supposed to go out, and then Trump held it up an extra 4 days because he said, no, throw them checks away and recut the checks to everybody. Make sure my name is on it. And it worked marketing wise because everybody really think he did it because he put his name on it. But that's just a quick FYI for people who don't really understand like how that all happened. Because so many people like Trump gave us stimulus checks. I'm like, that dude didn't even want to give them to y'all. So, and it's hard like battling stuff that's just not factual. Like today I got gangbanged on by a dude on Instagram. Like he tagged me on something and was like, give me 2 of Kamala's policies. So I said, okay, here you go. I gave them to him. And then he said, now give me 2 of Trump's policies and don't say nothing about Project 2025 because that ain't attached to him. And I was like, well, here go 2 of his policies. But then I sent him a video in his inbox of Trump literally saying at the Heritage Foundation, they are going to lay out my plan for me. I sent the video where, and then he just was like, I don't give a fuck what it say, cuz. I was like, well, you just was telling, I said, you tag me. And you wanted to, he said, because he tagged me, he said, you don't want this smoke. You can't talk about policy.
All right.
And I was like, I said, that's all I do is really talk about policy. So then when I started talking about policy, nigga got mad. So he like, don't be sending me nothing, cuz. I was like, you said cuz don't scare me. Like, I said, you tag me.
Yeah.
You tag me and ask for some of her. I said, because what, like I told you, I said, what y'all don't know is I know her policies and I know Trump policies because I went to his page and read through his whole platform as well. So I could know what I'm talking about on both sides. So I'm not taking anything from just CNN, taking anything from Fox News. Like I literally read his platform for myself. Yeah, like I said, so I know his platform more than a lot of his followers actually, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, and I'm like, but then he got mad and just gangbanged on me. I was like, dude, you think cuz is gonna scare me? Like Shannon said, what people really want to say is we got over with unemployment, those PPP loans. Preach. Portia said, right, people got away with them $1,000 scams. Yeah, like a few people came up on $10,000 for a PPP loan and had nan business in sight.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some people that was doing that.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, John Legend is up. You see tonight they had Stevie Wonder, John Legend. Republicans had goddamn Oprah. Yeah, they had Oprah, that Sheila E. Yep. Republicans had Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan and Amber Rose.
Yeah. And Amber Rose, man, it's like talk about the fucking stimulus check. That bitch is like she's a hired gun like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was just like, who in Trump's camp was like, she's the one that can get us black votes. Like,
she's the one that'll do it for money. Yeah. Who black votes is like?
Yeah, but I'm like, just to talk about how if you talk about, because then a lot of people be like, oh, Kamala be pandering, but I'm like, if you want to talk about pandering and pandering the wrong way, because you talk about somebody that's disconnected from. You know what I'm saying? Disconnected from the culture. Who was in there? Like, what black person? Like, oh, you know who will get us in there with the black folks? Get us Amber Rose. Like, what? Like, even if you say Kamala was pandering, she's pandering better because she got Quavo and Meg Thee Stallion for the youngsters, and you got Kid Rock and Amber Rose, and that's So it's funny. I wonder if the Republicans feel like, damn, I wish we could have went after the Democrats now, like seeing how they're doing it.
Yeah, you look at their playbook.
Look at their playbook a little bit because it feels like, because I tried to watch. I ain't gonna say I watched as much as I did of this. I tried to watch some of the Republican convention. It was like really it was so milquetoast and so bland. It was hard to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shannon said, can we kick her out the culture now? I think she's been kicked out, and I think that's why she did it.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing about how she got picked is like she ain't even relevant like that. So whoever is running that shit is really out of touch with what's happening in black culture. Because maybe 7 years ago, Amber Rose might have been more of like, damn, they got her, or 10 years ago and shit. But this goes up with a fucking forehead tattoo. It says that the Republican Party is most welcoming and they love gays and straights and blacks and all this. Like, you sound like a damn fool, bro. on a national stage like that.
Yeah,
come on, guys. They
Portia
asked
said
us to
people
meet
in
up in the forest at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just follow the fire. Like,
yeah, Portia said people in those camps usually don't know who to get to pander to black people. They usually make dumb decisions with that. Equity isn't their strength. And that's a good point. And that's what I mean, Portia. Like that shows the disconnect of even the people in Trump's staff in regard to outreach to black folks. If you felt if somebody bought Amber Rose that was like, yo, this is the one. Because I guess he was on to something when he had Kanye, but even though it felt like Kanye, he got Kanye maybe a year or two after his shelf life. You know what I'm saying? At that moment, like it wasn't like 808 and Heartbreaks Kanye, so you didn't feel like he had the impact he would have had when he was really a cultural icon to black folks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, but I do feel like production wise, this DNC has been much better than the production of the Republican National Convention. And I think the messaging, because I always, y'all know I always for years been talking about the messaging of Democrats has been horrible. This has been the best messaging I have seen. Actually, I think it's better messaging even than Barack Obama. You know what I mean? Like better messaging than in regards to like laying out the plans, laying out who the candidate is. Because Barack Obama was just so charismatic, he kind of overtook a lot of stuff. But the DNC's messaging this year has been so much better than it has been in the past few years, especially like that DNC with Hillary Clinton felt like a Republican DNC.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That it was that one was super milk toast. You know what I mean? The last one with Kamala and Biden, I had a little bit of flavor, but I feel like this DNC, they put seeds and saw they went and got some adobo, some Laurie's, you know what I'm saying, some Old Bay, and dropped it in there. You know what I mean? And it don't feel fake. Like like when Lil Jon came out to do Atlanta with the Pastor Mike, I was like, oh, that's really dope. Like I thought it was really dope. Positive, progressive, inclusive, promoting diversity with inclusion. Yes, Portia, I think they did a really good job of being progressive while still speaking to the base. Like it don't feel like they are, for a lack of a better term, it don't feel like this DNC is being too progressive. Like it feel like they've been doing a good job of like, yeah, we support LGBTQ, but we're not gonna scare off the old black folks. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they've been doing a good job of balancing that tightrope and even welcoming. They had some white artists come in and been welcoming. So it feels very inclusive and very big tent, and they did a good job. And again, like I never would have thought that the DNC would be not only this entertaining, but also this interesting when listening to the speakers. Like as you listen to the speakers, I'm like, this is actually, they're doing a good job of like hitting Trump a little bit to piss him off, but then getting on message talking about policy. Like I've heard them talk about the border. I heard them talk about inflation. I've heard them talk about the border deal that Trump killed, which I'm like, we should be hearing more of that. Because so many people are killing them about the border. Every day, y'all should be talking about how we had a border deal with the Republicans and the Republicans killed it. Y'all have to drive that message home. Like I think that's a message they have to continue to drive home to show that the Democrats aren't as weak on the border as people say that they are. You know what I mean? So I think I think they've been doing a good job. Like Portia said, it was perfectly stated by you, Portia. Positive, progressive, inclusive, promoting diversity and inclusion. And I think they've done a good job of passing the torch from Joe Biden, because like it don't feel like Joe Biden's party no more. It does now feel like the party of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It feels like it's the party of her and her generation now, which I think is a different generation than Joe Biden and the old guard, if you will. Because it almost Nancy Pelosi almost felt out of place speaking, because she's like the super old guard. So it almost was like, we could have switched you out with Jasmine Crockett could have went tonight, or you know what I mean? Like we could have given Jasmine Crockett a more prime time spot. That's what it feels like watching it. And just in my opinion. Now, Rex, you're younger than us, so I'm gonna get your perspective on, because you are literally in a demographic that Trump is trying to reach and that Kamala's trying to reach. So just from your personal perspective, what you've seen, or maybe what your friends have been talking about, what is it like for you, and what are you seeing, and what do you feel, and what are you thinking?
Just by looking at everything and how everything is unfolding, it feels like like we got somebody actually standing up for us, but Trump again, it feels like a whole troll. Like, he's just it just feels like he just want to rule the world. Like he just want to take over everything and shit like that. So I don't know. Like I'm just soaking in the game. I don't do too much on the politics and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But just by just hearing and seeing like shit that they're saying, like, do y'all really want this man to be y'all president? It's not adding up. Like it's not like, come on now. Like let's be for real. Like, come on now. We're not stupid. Y'all acting like real kids. Like we grown. Like we not trying to like no, it's not making sense. It's not adding up. But Kamala Harris, yeah, cheat, yeah. Cheat,
Well,
she putting
and
on
that's,
foolish.
but I know you said you're not big on politics, but that's exactly why I asked you, because that's the kind of voter that Trump and Kamala's trying to reach, right? So that's why I asked. I know you're not big on politics, so I wanted to get your perspective. And it's funny that even you see, because I've seen one thing I've seen that a lot of people say is like, all right, he keeps going back to his old playbook. It's getting old. It's
And it
stale.
seemed like
Yeah.
slavery. Like it seemed like like it's like old school slavery. Like it's so racist and nobody is catching on to nothing he's saying.
But
Yeah.
he don't think it's racist though. That's what's funny.
How if you hear I guess that I don't know. I guess I
Because
got
in
common
his
sense.
circles, that he's probably the liberal. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
crazy, bro.
The
Like, nah.
progressive. I mean, he's probably the most progressive person in his circle. I love black people. I've done the most for black people ever here. You want some malt liquor and some blunts? You know what I'm saying?
No, no. What is that gonna
He
change
laughed.
though? Like, just because you can do that, you're not better than us. Like, what are you gonna give us? Like, what can you do for us? Like,
Yeah,
not
but
only,
again,
not more so just for us, just for the people. Like, come on now. Like, just be. You're a president.
But
You're
I
for the
think
people.
those questions, though, honestly, are moot because he's going to say whatever he thinks you want to hear to get the position, and then he's going to do what the fuck he wants. So if you say, "What are you going to do for I don't know, taxes?" and he'll be like, I'm the hardest on taxes of anybody ever in history," and all that shit that he usually says. But when he gets in office, he just does what he wants to do. So trying to ask him about what policies he's going to extend to the community or the people. I don't think it's
Yeah, it's too
you
far
can take
fetched.
whatever the answer is. You can just take that with a grain of salt, bro.
Yeah.
Portia said, but you have representation of all generations. Nancy folks are still living too, multicultural and multi-generational. You right, P. You right on that. I gotta give it to you. But like I said, I do feel like it's just like because culturally I feel like there's a shift, but in the Democratic Party. And that's why I said I felt like Nancy was a little out of place just because we know she's part of that old, less progressive, more of the middle Democrat, like damn near Republican, for lack of a better term. Um, she's more of the what do they call that? The more conservative Democrat. She's more moderate, much more moderate than what the party is doing right now and what we've been seeing from the party in this particular DNC. Stephanie said Trump has played himself out. His behavior has mirrored the wannabe schoolyard bully. After a certain period of time, people really catch on who you really are, and they're no longer affected by your antics and realize you're really scared, the scared little boy. You know what I've noticed? And somebody said this, and I said, yo, this is crazy. They said, you remember when The Apprentice first came out? It was like one of the biggest shows on NBC. Everybody was like a phenomenon. Everybody was yelling, you're fired. They was laughing at him. He was hilarious. And they said, but then by like season 4, the act had fizzled out. People had got kind of tired of him. And they said this feels like season 4 of The Apprentice. Like people kind of like, all right, we get it, you're fired. They kind of tired of the act. You know what I mean? Like they said that's kind of what it feels like. Oh, this is kind of dope. They bought out Tim Walz football team. And let me tell you, talking about rollout too, the Tim Walz rollout has been amazing. He looks like a Republican. He looked like everybody white dad. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who got a white homie, he looked like they dad. He is salt of the earth, every man's man. And I think he's going to help get a lot of those corn-fed rural voters like in the blue wall in Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Like I think he's going to help bring that in. And, he's kind of a straight talker too. So you kind of get like the Trump, but without being a buffoon. Because he be lightweight talking shit and he be taking his digs and his jabs, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think he does in a way too, where it's like, but and then he'll still talk about policy as well. So I think he's been a good balance of being kind of like an attack dog for Kamala. Like he can say the stuff that she can't say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like, you know, he's been. And Shapiro spoke tonight, and I thought like Shapiro, he's gonna be a president. Shapiro ain't vice president material. Even watching him tonight, I'm like he's a star in his own right, and I don't think it would have worked. Him trying to like that would have been too big of a ticket, I think personally, and I think
I
he
didn't
made
really
it.
like him tonight, man. He seemed like a little dull knife. Or
Thought he had
maybe
an off night.
side by side with everybody, that really was on 10.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, his delivery, I guess, is more delivery. There's so many people that spoke that are good orators. You know what I mean? When you just come out and just say regular factual shit, right, and motivational shit, but it's just his delivery was just like, and I wasn't familiar with him, right? So this is my first time
Oh,
seeing him.
okay.
I mean, I knew about all the hype about him possibly being the VP pick and all that stuff. So I thought, I guess like the Obamas and the and old girl from Congress and stuff kind of set the bar for what
Yeah,
an entertaining speaker is. So when he started talking, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I don't know. I just expected more. I was expecting to go, wow, that's impressive.
yeah.
But maybe that is the presidential way to not be out there tearing your shirt off like Hulk Hogan and shit. I don't know.
CJ, what up, Chloe? She said, "Hey y'all, Trump is a bully and he believes what he's saying." That's the funny shit. Because people like he lie all the time. I said, but he don't think he lying. That's the crazy shit.
Yeah, when he goes off script, you can tell when he's starting to trying to make a point on his own merit.
He was like,
It's like,
I know you saw I look better than her.
yeah.
I was
He had
like, what?
10 times, 20 times, 30 times more than her. Like, bro, you can see you making it up, the expression on your face. Like,
Yeah.
what's the highest number that I can get away with? And shit. He's great.
Portia said he has the sweetest disposition and he's a former educator, super plus. Yeah, like again, I feel like they got the every man to run for vice president, and it shows from the stuff they're trying to attack him on. Like they attacked him like, oh, he said use weapons of war like when I was in war, and he was never in war. Like, okay, like I'm sure as somebody in the service, he carried a gun. You know what I mean? Then it was like,
Right.
oh, he said his wife had IVF and it wasn't IVF, it was IUS. I'm like, y'all sound crazy right now.
Well, nigga,
Like y'all grasping at straws.
Right. Yeah. It sounds a little contrived, man.
Yeah. So I think that's the other thing. Trump has always been able to figure out his opponent and figure out how to hit him and get his base to just eat something up, like Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe. He had those lock her up, the emails. Like he always has something to kind of like attach on to. And I think he haven't figured out that thing to attach on to with Walsh or Kamala. So it's been interesting to see him kind of flailing. I feel like the first line of Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? Like he's spiraling, like his superpower has been neutralized and he's spiraling. And that's what it feels like. It's like Trump's superpower was dropping a nickname on somebody and letting the whole world start to see them in that light, because he's trying to call her Comrade Kamala, trying to say she's communist and she's socialist, but that's not landing the way that he wants. Because he even said she's more left than Bernie Sanders. And I'm like, you think that's gonna hurt her with the Democratic base saying she's more left than Bernie Sanders, even though she's not
racist shit? So that's
but even though she's not more left, even though she's not more left than Bernie, but saying that, I'm like, that's not the flex you think it is to get people to dislike her. And then he started talking about her laugh. Have you heard that laugh? She's insane. That's the laugh of a crazy person. And I'm like, I don't think that's gonna hit the way you think it's hitting. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you ever been in a roast session and you just getting roasted, and then you try to come with a joke and everybody just look at you like, nah. Like it just ain't your night. Right. That's what it feels like with Trump. It feels like they hitting him, they roasting him, and they like somebody said Michelle Obama 4 years ago, when they go low, we go high. They said last night, fuck that.
Yeah, but even with that, I think they still kept it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't respectful necessarily, but it wasn't over the top. I think it
No.
was just enough because they know the buttons to push.
Well,
So
I
you
feel
don't
like
have to push it
yeah, I
that
feel like
hard.
Michelle has some shit to get off her chest. Like she been quiet so long, and they attacked her so many different ways, attacked her family, attacked her kids. So I think she was finally fed up and like, yo, I got to get this shit off my chest. That's what it felt like to me. And like you said, even the way she did it was still classy. Even the way they did it was,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it
saying.
was still like a classy read. It wasn't like a Trump just like start going off talking about you look better, like. And it's funny because like my brother said, he said a lot of his insults literally be like fifth grade stuff. Like I look better than you. I don't like the way you laugh. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like playground
Yeah.
insults and shit.
Chloe said, but I love the Obamas last night. They didn't go high. They went low. She said, Sleepy Joe got messed up when he fell off that bike. Yeah, I think that was like the beginning of the end because they just started like that. I think that started the narrative of like, oh, he's losing his cognitive. But it's crazy because again, now that Biden is out the race, now you get to look at Trump and be like, I don't know if his cognitive ability is what he think it is either. It was just like it looked better in comparison to Biden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Trump punching the air. He thought he had in the bag after that first debate, that fake assassination attempt, and the pastor preached. He did though. That's what's craziest, Portia. Sometimes they say be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. He wanted Joe out of the race because he started saying he shouldn't be president. He's not fit. And once that narrative started, and then the Democrats grabbed the hold to it, and they're like, "All right, we got to get him out of here because we're not going to win based on the narrow path that we have."
Yeah.
Now he talks about Joe like he misses him. You know what I mean? Like the way he talk about like a little Brokeback Mountain is just like he missed him a little bit. Like I wish Joe could come back.
Yeah, they was roasting him on the Daily Show about that shit. Like he keeps bringing that up in his speeches, like you're saying, like watch Joe's gonna come out at the DNC and say he doesn't quit and all this shit. And they were playing like a clip from him speaking, and oh boy, the host of the Daily Show was just letting him have it, man. It was just funny as shit how he.
Oh, did we lose V-Ray?
I think so.
All right, so look, we're gonna chime in just for a couple of seconds, let y'all hear a little bit.
Hear me?
Yeah, now we back. I'm gonna let y'all chime in. We're gonna listen to a little bit of Tim Wall's speech. He's up right now. Let's just listen to a little bit of it.
And everybody has a responsibility to contribute.
Yeah, we can.
For me, it was serving in the Army National Guard. I joined up 2 days after my 17th birthday, and I proudly wore our nation's uniform for 24 years. My dad, a Korean War era Army veteran, died of lung cancer a couple years later. He left behind a mountain of medical debt. Thank God for Social Security survivor benefits. And thank God for the GI Bill that allowed my dad and me to go to college, and millions of other Americans. Eventually, like the rest of my family, I fell in love with teaching. Three out of 4 of us married teachers. I wound up teaching social studies and coaching football at Mankato West High School. Go Scarlets. We ran a 44 defense. We played through to the whistle on every single play, and we even won a state championship. Never closed the yearbook, people. But it was those players and my students who inspired me to run for Congress. They saw in me what I had hoped to instill in them, a commitment to the common good, an understanding that we're all in this together, and the belief that a single person can make a real difference for their neighbors. So there I was, a 40-something high school, and no money, running in a deep red district. But you know what? Never underestimate a public school teacher. Never. I represented my neighbors in Congress for 12 years, and I learned an awful lot. I learned how to work across the aisle on issues like growing the rural economies and taking care of veterans. And I learned how to compromise without compromising my values. Then I came back to serve as governor, and we got right to work, making a difference in our neighbors' lives. We cut taxes for the middle class. We passed paid family and medical leave. We invested in fighting crime and affordable housing. We cut the cost of prescription drugs and helped people escape the kind of medical debt that nearly sank my family. And we made sure that every kid in our state gets breakfast and lunch every day.
You muted. You muted. You muted.
Banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours. We also protected reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. And even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. And that includes IVF and fertility treatments. And this is personal for Gwen and I. If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call, the pit in your stomach when the phone would ring, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't.
The sound is out, bro.
I said the way he connects to those tempo issues that the Democrats have, he does a good job. He's talking about, fertility, women's reproductive rights. It's a personal connection for him. He's talking about Second Amendment, guns that they use in war. So that's personal to him. You know what I mean? So like the way he connects, he's a school teacher. So he's talking about food and, paid leave and all that stuff that they call him a socialist for. He does a really good job. It was a good pick. It was a good pick.
Free to pollute your air and water. And banks free to take advantage of customers.
Yeah, Chloe,
But
he
when
was the
we
governor
Democrats
during the
talk
George
about
Floyd.
freedom, we mean the freedom to make a better life for yourself and the people that you love. Freedom to make your own healthcare decisions. And yeah, your kids' freedom to go to school without worrying about being shot dead in the hall. Look, I know guns. I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter. And I was a better shot than most Republicans in Congress, and I got the trophies to prove it.
See, so they can't use they're going to take our guns, right?
But I'm also a dad. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe our first responsibility is to keep our kids safe. That's what this is all about. The responsibility we have
I think that's
to
the
our
son
kids,
standing
to
in
each
portrait.
other,
That's crying.
and to the future that we're building together, in which everyone is free to build the kind of life they want. But not everyone has that same sense of responsibility. Some folks just don't understand what it takes to be a good neighbor.
Right, Ron.
Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Their Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. They spent a lot of time pretending they know nothing about this. But look, I coached high school football long enough to know, and trust me on this, when somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it.
So that was a little bit of, Wall speech. Like I said, I think they've been doing a great job with the rollout of this DNC. They've had some really dynamic speakers, really great production. I think Trump is going to have a problem come November. We'll see. And I know it's still going to be close. It's still going to be neck and neck because his base, one thing about his base hasn't, decreased at all. I think what's happened is Kamala's base taking over after Biden has increased. So she basically made up the ground that Biden lost and then some to rise above in some of the battle states in the polling.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be work to do for her to take, because it's about the electoral, not the popular. I think she's going to win the popular vote with ease, but it's going to be the electoral map. But just for people watching, they said Joe Biden had one path to victory, which was he had to win the blue wall, and if he missed out on any of those states, he wasn't going to win. I think that was Nancy Pelosi's issue, so that's why they wanted to get somebody else. But now they're saying with Kamala, she has different paths. She could win with the blue wall. She could win with the Sun Belt states, which is like New Mexico, Nevada, over there. They're saying she's taking, her points. I think she's polling above him in Arizona, Nevada, which is usually a red state. So she has different pathways to win. But I think she just has to really campaign all the way up until don't make the mistake that Hillary made. Hillary was spiking the ball, before the end of the election. They told Hillary to go back to Michigan, and she was like, "No, I got this." And they're like, "No, you really need to go back to Michigan." So she didn't go back to Michigan, and she didn't go back to Wisconsin on that last trip. And I think those are the places where she lost by a very narrow margin. So yeah. I think they probably learned from their past mistakes. So they have a big war chest because I think they raised $500 million since she's become the candidate now, and that was not including the 96 million, the 96 million that Joe already had left. So, yeah. And they said one thing that this is going to do is, because she's starting to rally in these other states that she wasn't otherwise going to rally in, they're going to make the Trump campaign spend money in places that they didn't plan on spending money, in places where they thought they had it in the bag. They have to go spend money there now. So that's going to take away from the places that they wanted to bombard. And from what I'm hearing too, I know Trump used a lot of his war chest for his legal woes and for his attorney fees and stuff. So
somebody just gave him another $50 million this week.
Was it Elon Musk?
No, it was. I think it might have been. I don't remember who it was, but it's somebody that had already given him $50 million.
Oh,
okay. And they gave him another $50 million. It wasn't the widow of the billionaire that he sent the text to. It was somebody else.
Hayne Ford said, "Hey, Ford, that's a good point." He said people forget how close Florida was. Biden almost got that one. Not saying Kamala may win it, but no, that's a good point, because not just Florida. There are states that were in the polls before Kamala got in, and were leaning Republican. They all almost all of them switched to toss-ups. Even Florida is now a toss-up state, which is crazy. And he said, I think she could flip a few red. I think she will. I think she'll have to, in order to get to that 270. So, like I said, strategically, I feel like they've been doing the right things. I feel like after this, they got to continue to roll out the policies. As they roll out the policies, I think she has to do that hard one-on-one interview where they get to ask the questions about the issues that she's changed her mind on, the issues that she's so-called flip-flopped on. And the thing for Walsh, I think they got to sit down and do those hard-hitting interviews, which I think they'll probably do fine. And then after that, you roll into the debates. and after debates, you roll right into voting. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
she got like a good little ramp up. She got a nice little head start with coming in the race late. Probably benefited her because she got a new energy, and that energy might roll into the actual race if she does it right, and if the campaign continues to do what they've been doing, which has been they've been doing some hella smart things on this campaign. I really got to give it to them. They've been doing a really good job. Do you think one of Trump's main reasons for running is to pay for legal fees with his war chest? I think it's to pay for the legal fees and also to stay out of jail, because as long as he's president, he can't go to jail. So I think
Yeah,
those.
he can pardon himself.
Yeah. Portia says she woke us up with that new energy. I think so. I think she woke a lot of the party up. A lot of people who were like, I don't like neither one of them. I think now they're going to, a lot of them came back to vote for Kamala, and I think that's another reason why she's up in the polls. So, it's a lot of factors that are at play. So it's going to be very interesting to watch how strategically they play it from here on out. Now, my people on Instagram, I think they only they give us an hour. So people on Instagram, they give us an hour. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna log us out, but I'm gonna log back in because I know y'all want to be there when we have the Chris Brown discussion, which is gonna happen in about 4 minutes. So I'm
That
gonna wait.
shit's gonna take about 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till we log back in. Let's tap back into Walsh for a minute and see what he's talking about. His ovation, just so y'all can see his ovation. It's crazy. He didn't do a super long speech tonight either. He came in, did what I think I'm hearing is most of his stump speech, really.
Yeah, because he repeated that stuff about Trump and shit.
Now, I do hope that Kamala doesn't do her stump speech tomorrow. I hope she does something new. So do you think that they will sentence Trump next month? What will happen since he has immunity for action? I don't know, CJ. I don't know, Chloe. I don't know. I have no idea how they're going to play out that part.
What was the question?
Kamala, her question was, do you think that they will sentence Trump next month? What will happen since he has immunity for acts while in office?
I think they're purposely holding off on sentencing him because the judge had agreed to do it. At one point I read he had agreed to do it after the election because Trump would be able to waive the sentence, right? If he sentenced him before, and plus if he is president. Well, I think I thought the strategy was that to be able to keep him from pardoning himself or commuting his sentence or whatever the president has powers to do, they waited to see if he was going. He wanted to wait to see if he would have that power to do that. So
okay, well, they said CJ said that it's set for September. Chloe said it's
the sentencing is
sentence set for September.
Okay.
Haynes said Kamala needs the young vote and college graduates. Also, I think she can get some independent votes. I think that's going to be key. She's really going to have to tap in and dig into that independent voter pool, which I think is wide open right now because they say a lot of those independent voters that went with Trump in the last election, they felt very disappointed that a lot of things that he said he was going to do, he didn't do. They feel like they voted for him based on policies that he had set forth, and he didn't deliver on a lot of the policies and his, that he has set forth. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think she can for sure tap into those independent and those swing voters and what they call with the devil haters. Portia said he did a dope ass coach pep talk at the end. What's the point of sending someone to trial if they're allowed to still pardon themselves? It seems pointless to me because that is the benefit of whiteness, Stephanie. The one thing you cannot punish in this country is whiteness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said on Instagram, they're gonna probably log y'all out in like a minute, and after they log y'all off, she said we missed that part of the speech when we cut it off. Okay, well I'll check it out afterwards, of course. But I kind of cut it off. Like I said, I was like, oh, he doing his stump speech again, and I feel like I damn near know both of their stump speeches by heart. Haynes said, and he didn't deliver. I know quite a few independents. Yeah, like he didn't deliver on the border wall. He said he's gonna build a wall. He didn't build the wall. He did the tax cut, but the tax cut ended up helping the rich and his homies. So, and I think those were two of the biggest issues, right? Was the border tax cut
and he didn't deliver on those. And even for the black independent voters, I know he's supposed to deliver on the opportunity zones. That didn't happen, so Chloe said Pete Buttigieg said he only passed the one tax cut for the rich. No, exactly. And I know like that was a big thing. Everybody's like, oh, he's gonna do a tax cut. You know what I mean? Like everybody like, oh, he gonna do a tax cut, and he did. And then they like was shocked, which was funny. I'm like, why are y'all shocked? Then they were shocked that he did a tax cut for the rich. And
That's
that's
what
go
I
ahead,
was
B.
saying. Whatever he promises, and it doesn't mean anything, man. When he says what he's gonna do in office, because he's already got his agenda. Like whatever he says now, the 2025 agenda is gonna boil to the top. You know what I'm saying? So he can say what the fuck he wants to. 2 cars in every garage or whatever the shit is. But he's a habitual liar. So he's not saying stuff that he foresees himself having to act on in the future. So his constituents are just like, they're gonna get left holding the bag again. It's like you falling for that same shit again. You know what I'm saying? Out caping for this dude, and it's like he don't give a shit about you. Like all the poor people who was all behind him and shit that got burned on the tax thing. It's like now you're out here again saying that he's an anointed politician. He's God's pick and all this shit. Like he didn't even give you the damn tax break. He punished you more than he served you in his term. So
Right. Yeah, so that's why I say it's interesting to people who are like still like believing the promises, because like I said, if you talk about policy, I think he failed on a lot of the policies that were his big tentpole policies that he was supposed to deliver on. He said we don't have to vote ever again. Like how? You know how that nigga's trying to be a king, Chloe. King
Trying to rule the world, like I said.
People that took PPP and unemployment money and ran with it. Yeah, he absolutely blatant lies. No thanks. Harris Walks 24. But yeah, so like I said, it'll be interesting. I hope she can tap in. They can tap into those independent voters, because I think independent voters and women are probably the demographics that will put them over the top, because they're not gonna really cut into the male white vote. They're not gonna cut into that with Trump. That's his. He got that. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to find it. So they're gonna have to find it with black voters, Latino voters, LGBTQ voters, women voters, soccer moms, college students, like Pop said. Yeah, like they gotta tap into that. So all right, now let's get into the topic that I've been waiting to talk about all night. CJ said they need to redo the Supreme Court. I'm sick of them all. Well, they have been talking about expanding the Supreme Court if they win the presidency. So we'll see. I think they need to, because the way the Supreme Court is set up now, he got like 3 young judges he dropped on there that's going to be there until they die. So the Supreme Court will be conservative for years to come if they don't do something. Oh, well, what could happen is, I think if the Democrats win, they might get another seat, because Clarence Thomas and I think Judge, I forgot the other judge. The other, anyway, there's 2 judges who might be retiring. So they're saying if the Republicans win, they get to replace those 2 judges with 2 more Republicans. But if the Democrats win, they might get to replace it with 2 more Democrats, and that might make it a little more even, a little less crazy. What up, Chuck Dizzle? We got Chuck Dizzle who just joined, watching over on Instagram. That's my guy. Anybody who know Homegrown Radio, they on K-Day, shout out to Chuck Dizzle and his radio show, him and DJ Head. They're my guys, great LA radio guys. Just want to say what's up to them. She said they all need to retire. All right, so the question, Tank got on Al Gore's internet and said Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson.
Coke.
And then a lot of people actually agreed. And then he went further and made a list of all the things that Chris Brown is better than, Mike. So he said Chris Brown is a better writer. Chris Brown is a better dancer. Chris Brown is a better producer. And he's better on stage or something like that. So let's talk about that. And I've talked to some people that I really, I respect, and a couple of them say, well, I do think Chris is a better dancer than Mike. And I think niggas give Chris Brown too much credit just because he could backflip. Cause they be like, the other niggas can't backflip. Like, all right, cool, he could backflip, but that ain't all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's. So we got somebody from the Chris Brown generation on the call. We got Rex, and then we got somebody from our generation. We got V-Ray. V-Ray, tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think of this whole conversation.
I got 2 words, and it's come on, son. That's it, bro. I mean, I think that what Tank is leaving out is that how much of an innovator Michael Jackson was during his time. You know what I'm saying? He broke ground with MTV. You know what I'm saying? With the long format music videos, the production and everything that goes into the shows and stuff like that. He has a hand in a lot more of that. So just from an entertainment ring gentlemanship type of aspect, Chris Brown is good, but he just kind of popped in and helped himself to what was available, to him at the time. He didn't create. He didn't really break ground and shit like that. Vocally, I don't know. Michael Jackson had been doing it and Chris is a good singer too. I don't think he's a better singer than Michael Jackson. He can sing his ass off, but what I will say about Chris Brown is when he sings live, he don't hit the shit like he hits it on the record. You know what I'm saying? And that's a baseline requirement, for my generation of live show type shit. But again, I just think they wasn't calling the dude the king of pop like his press people got together and tried to come up with some kind of gimmick. This dude was doing. He was on that level. You know what I'm saying? He was on the level where the discussion was who was better, him or Prince. And you know what I'm saying? So that's a whole different conversation than him and Chris Brown.
Well, so for me, and this is my take, and I may be a little biased. And Portia said, he's not a better dancer. We can debate singing. Now, I don't even think we can debate singing, honestly. And like I said, I'll point to, you show me a vocal performance that Chris Brown has that's better than Michael Jackson at like 13 years old singing I Want to Be Where You Are. Just show me one vocal performance that Chris has that's even close to I Want to Be Where You Are, like just vocally sound. And then even when you go to the older Mike, you go to his vocals on Butterflies, killer. Like his ad libs at the end of Remember the Time. Like Michael was singing his ass off on Remember. So like I think people, because he stylized his song so much to give it that Michael Jackson sound, people forget how much of a vocal beast he was. And Michael is the only artist that I know that a great grandmother, a grandmother, a daughter, the grandson, and the great grandson all know Michael Jackson. He's the only artist that I know that's like that worldwide. I got to go back through some of these comments because these comments are good. Shannon Perkins said he's a whole lie. Haynes said, boy. CJ said he's this generation's Michael. Stephanie said, but how do they think Chris learned most of the things that he does? And he said Chris Brown makes hits, but Michael is iconic. Chris Brown will never have global impact that Michael have and has. MJ was a worldwide entertainer. Stop. Ron said, so what's Chris Brown's moonwalk? Because Mike got his own dance. Not just moonwalk, and that was another point I wanted to make, Ron. Mike has, you could literally say do the Michael Jackson, and it means like 8 different things. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just say do the Michael Jackson, and that means some of us saw the kick in our head, some of us saw the moonwalk, some of us saw when he jumped up on his heels, some of us saw, you know what I'm saying, it's grabbing his crotch. Yeah, there's so many things you say do the Michael Jackson, and the leg, the Michael Jackson K-Swiss, like there's so many things that you say do the Michael Jackson could mean. Haynes said Michael Jackson in my top 3 vocally, period. She said, I mean, these kids like Sexy Red. So
go to Times Square or go to on Hollywood Boulevard and see the Chris Brown imitators. Look for them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some nigga that gets plastic surgery to look like Chris Brown.
Yeah. He said, can Chris Brown stand on stage and have the audience clapping and crying while he's just standing there? Yeah.
Passing out and everything. Come on now. You think Chris Brown making motherfuckers pass out?
Can Chris
Right.
Brown hang a baby off a balcony and get away with it?
And get away with it. Nigga.
Wait, no, not only that, he did it, and it was 50. It was more people there than that at most people concerts at his hotel room, at the window of his hotel. Stephanie said, "Dame, unless I missed something, I have not heard Chris be able to do the vocal acrobatics with his voice like Mike has, like making beats and acapella music with his voice. Like again, and I don't want people to feel like I'm attacking Chris because Chris actually said himself, hell no, I ain't fucking with Michael. Like so, you know, I definitely don't want to." That's a good one, Hank. Stranger Moscow. He was singing his ass off on Stranger Moscow and Earth Song.
What about it?
Yeah, Earth Song. He was singing his ass off on What About. And again, point me to a vocal performance that Chris has done that is as powerful, as clean as the ones that we have named. Or even you go back to I Want to Rock With You because it's smooth, but he's singing his ass off on I Want to Rock With You.
You used to do the dance to rock. They ain't seen that.
You said the dance what?
It was called the rock.
The dance to rock.
Yeah, he did. It was a dance called the rock.
Possum, my pops said he had a dance called The Rock that people haven't seen. My son is loving Michael Jackson's Beat It and Smooth Criminal in his top 5. And your sons are not even like 15, right? Your kid's not even 15. So that's what I mean. Like, just from a cultural standpoint, the artistry that Mike's had, because somebody said, well, I think Chris could dance better because he could do everything Mike could do, and then there's some things he could do that Mike can't. And I said, well, I think, yeah, she said, hey, her son 9. Like your son 9, and he on Smooth Criminal right now and Beat It. You know what I'm saying? Beat It is older than him and his parents. You know what I'm saying? but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so to me, it's like I feel like outside of backflipping, because yeah, Mike probably didn't have that. Mike probably didn't backflip, but outside of backflipping while he's dancing, I feel like Mike's precision was better. I feel like Mike's videos were better. And because if you're gonna say that Chris Brown is better, well, if you're gonna say Chris is, his choreography was way better. Because if you're gonna say Chris is better, you have to point to the thing that he actually does better than Mike, right? You have to actually point to me like, where's his Thriller moment? Where's his American Music Awards Man in the Mirror moment? Where's his Beat It Billie Jean with his, Motown 25 moment? Like, there are so many moments that Mike has had video-wise, because first of all, video-wise, Mike changed the entire industry.
Exactly.
If you broke the barrier with MTV, Chris couldn't have been on TV.
Well, not only that,
Chris Brown took what's the name? Mike's his second video out. What's that song? Excuse Me, Miss. What's that shit called? Y'all know that video. God damn it, that's from Mike, man. So
it's like his version of The Way You Make Me Feel. So it's like literally like Chris kind of. And again, like I said, I don't want to attack Chris because Chris even said himself, like, hell no, I wouldn't be here without Mike, and I would never. You know what I mean? Oh, you're right, Shannon. Mike was singing his ass off on screen too. Yeah, he was singing his ass off on screen. But again, so I'm talking. So I think Mike is a better singer because I heard him do much more with his voice. Range wise, like we've heard him sing super soft, we heard him sing super hardcore, we heard him, you know what I mean?
His harmony stacking in the studio.
Yeah, Never Say Goodbye, Lady of My Life, like because there's songs you could point to where Mike is actually singing, not songs like I'm Bad and Beat It. Like I don't, even though he sounds good on those songs, those not songs you point to as like his vocal, vocal ability, but they're like I said,
even from when he was a kid. I'll be there. Look over your shoulder, honey. Come on, my nigga.
About, Who's Loving You? That was
Who's Loving You? Again, point me to any Chris Brown vocal, and Michael was like 11.
Right.
You could
and
go
we're
through
talking
any Chris.
about that shit now.
Yeah. Yeah. She did you watch the We Are the World special? That shit had me want to be it. Yeah. I watched the We Are the World special. That was special. And again, if Chris was a better artist, he would have those moments, right? If he was better than Michael, it would have came through. Because if you that good, the world and you in a spotlight, it ain't like you like some dude who was in the basement who never got his shot. You are here, you are out there. Where is your Thriller video then? Where is your Scream video? Where is your You know what I'm saying? Like where are those?
I'll
and
probably
again,
say the only shit that'll probably touch that is running. That's about it. Other
and
than
that's
that, the rest of that shit is ass.
well, it's not even that his videos are ass because I think a lot of his videos are like, what was that one? Wall to Wall was like his
Oh,
version of
that shit was
Thriller,
clean.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that shit was
instead
clean
of
too.
zombies, it's
Yeah,
vampires. But again, like
yeah.
V Ray said, there would be no Chris making that video if Michael hadn't made Thriller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That shit is insane,
Yeah,
bro.
he
Yeah,
just
remember the
innovated,
time.
man.
Just
Remember
remember the time
video?
as
Oh
a
my
video.
God.
You could play remember like I DJ sometimes, and when I DJ, I play remember the time. There has never been a time in the whole time of my DJing years that if you put on remember time and somebody in that place don't try to do the Michael Jackson dance routine from Remember the Time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Thriller, same.
I did like that Chris Brown tempo song. Well, listen, hey, it's not about I love there's a lot of Chris Brown songs. Like I love that sensational video, the sensational song. Like there's a lot of stuff, but I'm just saying we talking about in comparison to MJ. Because you know, on his own, standing on his own merit, Chris got a bunch of crazy records, crazy videos.
Yeah.
He got a nice catalog. But I'm just talking right now specifically in comparison to what Tank said about MJ. Like I think first of all, I think we need to leave MJ alone.
Period.
That's first. Because they try to say Harry Styles was the new king of pop. Get the fuck out of here. I think to me, I think the closest would be Beyonce, and she ain't close. And that's not no knock on her because I think she's amazing. But I think and I feel like honestly, I feel like this is like the
I feel like
LeBron.
that's the closest comparison you can ever come to close to
Yeah.
MJ. Is
Like just
Beyonce.
talking about cultural impact and people crying when she on stage and all that shit
Exactly.
like that. She's the only
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, or Taylor Swift, yeah, but Taylor Swift ain't the entertainer that they are, so that's why I wouldn't put her, you know, in that echelon. But you know, to me, like watching, I don't know, man. Hold on, let's read Stephanie's comment. She said, even though Michael had his share of scrutiny in the media behind the accusations, the way society went about doing things back then is not how they do it now, cancel culture and everything. So you think Chris's incident with Rihanna and how influential people backed her kind of hurt him from having those moments and opportunities? I think it did in the beginning, Stephanie, but I think he's had chances to redeem himself and he wanted to gangbang. You know what I mean? Like I think no, for real. Like I think like he wanted to go a more kind of hardcore different direction because you know when you pop, there's like a certain thing you gotta do and uphold. And I don't think he wanted to do that. Honestly, I don't think he wanted to be that either. Honestly, I think he likes where he is. Yeah, I think he likes where he is in his career and what he's doing the way he's doing. I don't think he even wanted to try to take that Michael Jackson mantle. And I probably wouldn't want to either. Like that's hard. Mike's life was tough being the most famous person on the planet. Can you imagine that? Being the most famous person on the planet while you're alive, not while you're dead.
Nowhere.
While you're alive, like he literally had to put on disguises to go to the grocery store, or they said he would like rent out a grocery store just so he could feel normal, just to be able to go shop, rent out a grocery store, have extras come in so he could shop with regular people. That's a life that I couldn't even fathom. I couldn't even imagine. And Chris Brown for sure can go to a grocery store.
He can go. He can go to a grocery store. Yeah, he can go.
That's subjected to who is a bigger star, Beyonce versus Taylor Swift. Well, no, I'm not talking about bigger star, CJ. I was talking about in regards to like what they do as artists. Like I think Taylor Swift is a huge star, and of course, I feel like Ben White helps a lot with that, with the type of music she makes. But I'm talking about like when it comes to like choreography on stage, doing what Michael Jackson do. Like when we talk about comparatively to Michael Jackson, like right now when I'm talking about these artists, I'm talking about comparatively to Michael Jackson. I wouldn't compare Taylor to Michael Jackson because you ain't gonna be like, where's she about to do Taylor Swift about to do a dance breakdown.
Show me.
I don't think Kanye's in that conversation.
Oh hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Yeah. Portia said yes, totally. If she said totally, Stephanie, if he had kept that clean this Christmas image, he would have had more moments. I don't know. I think he would have had more moments. He's had chances to have more moments anyway. He's done the award shows. He's had the chance to be on all the award shows and all that stuff, Oh, okay, I got you, CJ. She's talking about Kanye in reference to Taylor Swift. But yeah, like, and I just feel like he hasn't come through. And again, like for me, and this is maybe a little controversial, but I don't care. But I feel like this conversation is likened to the Michael Jordan LeBron conversation, right? I feel like Chris Brown is LeBron, Michael Jackson is Jordan, and Usher is Kobe. Niggas forgetting about Usher. You
Just
can't
like
skip
Usher,
Chris
man.
over Usher, man. I'm
You
sorry.
can't-
Because again, we know Usher has had those moments, right? Usher
Yeah.
has given us those iconic videos. Usher has given us those moves where it's like, that's the Usher move. He gave you the chain around the neck. He gave you the you don't have to call move. He gave me the make you wanna, taking his shoes off. He gave you the my way. Like Usher has had those moments in his videos and his award shows that have been very iconic. Usher be singing his ass off too. You listen to how good he was singing on Caught Up, which is another one of my favorite Usher videos. Like, and I feel like it's that same conversation where people be trying to put LeBron over Jordan, but I'm like, how you skipping over Kobe? And that's what I feel like, you know, with Usher. I feel like y'all skipping over Usher and his greatness, his longevity in his career and all the work he put in and all the things he did. But that's just me. Usher Raymond. What you think, V-Ray?
I think you nailed it, man. I think, honestly, Tank just did some clickbait shit, and you know what I'm saying. And here we are doing a show around it and shit. But I mean, I think it's just a moot point, man. I don't even think that was intended to go this far. You know what I mean? Because I think it's just so obvious. And him being a singer, him in his own right, you know what I mean? I'm just surprised that he would even let that come out of his mouth unless he had other intentions for even bringing the shit up. So, shout out to Tank, but that was some dumb shit to do. Just saying, 'cause that shit ain't, you can't shape that shit no way to make that shit true. But yeah, I think in the league that you're talking about right now with Usher and as Kobe and such, I think that's fair because Usher has had that same and been around about as long as Chris Brown, you know what I mean? Or longer, actually.
Longer, like about
longer.
5 to 10 years
Yeah,
longer.
Yeah.
So he definitely deserves his flowers, but he's making his moves and shit. I mean, with the Super Bowl and the residency that he's got and all that. So I mean, he's still doing it. It ain't even over yet. And that's the thing too about this Chris Brown, Michael Jackson conversations. Michael's dead, you know what I'm saying? All this shit that we're talking about is legacy shit, you know what I'm saying? If he was still around, he'd probably be doing some more amazing shit, even at this age and at the
Oh
stage.
my
You know?
God.
So you letting and dude still got ground. I mean, how long has Michael Jackson been dead now? What?
Since
Like
2010?
2010. So he's been dead 14 years.
Nine.
So this nigga still got 14 years of career in it, you know, after Michael Jackson's death and shit. And he still ain't really adding up to it in the sense of him and Michael Jackson being in the same conversation. So you know.
Portia said I was trying to find a singing argument, and y'all quickly reminded me there's no comparison. That's what I say. I feel like people forget how good a singer Mike was because he's known for his entertaining side. He's known for his dancing. But I'm like, no, Mike was a cold ass vocalist. You go back to when he was a kid to Butterflies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When he started hitting more pop shit, he cleaned it up. It wasn't nowhere near as R&B chops as it was in the past, like Dancing Machine, all them old joints and shit like that. So it's easy for somebody who, depending on where they arrived during the Michael Jackson era, I mean, during his whole career, where they got on board and got familiar with him. So they may not have known historically what he was capable of. But no, old boy been killing it for a long time. He took Jermaine's spot and shit. Remember, Jermaine was the lead singer and shit in the Jackson 5 and shit.
Portia said Tank actually believes that shit. It just speaks to his understanding of true art. And you know, it's funny because like Tank usually is on it, and I know there's a personal part to it because he works with Chris and Chris is his guy. So I know there's a personal aspect and a personal piece to it. But no, man, at the end, there's too much data to show. There's too much data.
I'll tell you what it is right now. Coke. They was on the finest of powder.
That video, huh?
They was on the finest of powder. He said,
I was looking at him
man.
when he was making that statement. He's like,
Chris Brown.
That drunk
What,
smile
nigga?
Look on his face. Like, oh my God. And he's saying crazy shit.
Haynes said,
on,
"Tell
man.
Tank to Google the 1993 Super Bowl, jumping out the bottom of the stage." Okay, nigga.
Right.
Stephanie said, "There's an 11-year difference between Usher and Chris. Usher released his first album in 1994, and Chris Brown released his first album in 2005." Thanks, Stephanie, for the fact check.
Yeah.
CJ said, "Hell, how many hours did you sit and watch the Motown 25 commercial and wait for Michael?" Yeah, when he had the Pepsi commercial, we had to watch the 5-part Pepsi commercial through the whole award show when he was jumping off of helicopters and shit, parachuting off of buildings,
Yeah.
getting chased through the whole country. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And that's that showmanship and that entertainment acumen that I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? The building the suspense and just all of that, from concerts and videos and all that. A lot of that was him. You know what I mean?
And V, and to your point, I think all of that counts.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
you're talking about the
That's
artistry.
That's the whole
Yeah,
pedigree of the
yeah. I
artist.
think that all counts to when you're talking about who's the better artist. Because one of my friends, she said, I think he's a better dancer than Mike, but I think Mike had better vision. I said, well, if you think Mike had better vision, and because he had better vision and better choreo, I said, I think that all goes to the point though, right? I think that all goes to the pot when you're talking about who's better. It's like you can't like even pull out, pick and choose attributes. You look at the overall thing, right? Like, and then if you want to go to nitpick, like, okay, they this close and everything, so now we'll use this to nitpick. But I don't think they're that close to get to the point where we nitpick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is he even in the competition next to
It's
Mike?
not a fair fight. Trying to put them in parallel to each other, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Chris is great, and I love
Chris is
Brown
amazing,
and
man.
his catalog
He's an
is
amazing
great.
artist.
Fucking amazing, but why are you in a conversation next to a GOAT nigga?
Yeah.
No.
Well, my thing is, like, I wouldn't be mad if you said Chris is this generation's Michael. I wouldn't be mad at that conversation.
No,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't, even though that's to me a little stretch. I wouldn't be mad at that statement. Like, well, maybe he's the closest thing they have to Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
okay.
But the bar is low. The bar is quite lower. Like somebody said, this generation is listening to Sexy Red and shit, and so the bar is just lower. So it's easier to be this generation's Michael Jackson than it was for Michael Jackson to be his generation's Michael Jackson. Hey,
yeah.
And then he innovated and did all this groundbreaking shit along the way. But the bar, it's a different litmus test these days.
You're right. And like I said, no shade to Chris, because I think Chris is a dope artist in his own right, and I think Chris is talented in other places. Because Chris can paint and shit. He be designing clothes like Chris does. Like he's like a Renaissance artist. He does all of those
a little bit.
He can act. Yeah. So I think there's all of those pieces. So I think he's really a brilliant artist. He's great, but I think when it comes to like standing flat foot on stage, who I want to go see. Ask 30 people, do you want to go see Chris and Michael Jackson in concert at their peak? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, that tells you like who will be better. And like I said, Michael is the only one I know who goes 4 to 5 generations deep with people who fuck with him.
You know what? In reality, it wouldn't even have to be at their peak. If you ask a lot of people, would they rather see Michael Jackson or Chris Brown today? Just like what they last know of Michael Jackson, I bet you Michael Jackson will be voted more than Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Not even at his peak.
Yeah. So I think, y'all need to leave MJ alone. Like I said all that to say, use somebody else for your bar. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's like, as Artemis Gordon calls him, the deity. He's the deity. Leave him alone. He's over there. Like he's really in a space. I think Michael Jackson and Prince are in a space and place of his own. So you should never call yourself the next MJ, the next Prince, or say somebody coming up is the next MJ, the next. Like they 1-on-1, both of them. They 1-on-1. Leave that alone. If Prince has influenced you, or Michael Jackson, that's cool. But to think you can be them or take their place, like nah, get out of here, skedaddle. Like that ain't that ain't happening. You know what I mean? And but him being a blueprint, going back to like what Haynes said, like him being a blueprint, Chris's career would not even be what it was if he didn't mirror a lot of MJ stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like that's why I could never put Kobe over Jordan, because I'm like, Kobe got his whole game from Jordan. And even though he had a better 3-point shot, he approved upon some of the things that MJ did was without MJ. So you can't never say like, oh, he was, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people are like, well, I'll take Kobe over MJ. I'm like, I wouldn't, just because I feel like Jordan is the ultimate blueprint. And because I like, and people are like, well, he just copied Jordan. Like, well, I'm sure a lot of people tried to copy Jordan. He was the only one who got close. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we all can go try to copy Jordan, but who's gonna get that close? And that's what I feel like with Usher and Chris. It's like, yeah, they copied Jordan, but actually, I feel like Usher got closer in regards. If you look into their careers and how they mirror, I feel like Usher got closer to MJ than Chris did, with the way his albums were, the way his tours were, the way his performances, live performances were. Like, I think his live performances just resonate a little more than Chris's, and I don't know why. I can't explain that. But I feel like the way Usher put
nigga getting females in trouble at his concert. What is Chris Brown doing that shit? No.
Do you think people should leave Beyonce alone too? Yes. I do.
Yes.
I really do. I think people need to leave B alone, because she's shown time and time again, y'all really can't fuck with her. You know, and I think the first case of that for me was when she did Coachella. And the way they filmed that, and watching the behind the scenes of the Coachella. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, when I watched that, I'm like, oh, she's serious business. But then when she did this last concert movie, and she was so precise, they was cutting from all the different concerts and her outfits was changing, but it looked like the camera wasn't moving. It looked like a visual effect.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, her show was so precise that they cut in different cities in, and it looked like she's in the exact same place on the exact same mark. It didn't look like she was out of place on any of them. Like, she went to the left too much. It was like they cut that shit like this, pop, pop, pop. And as an editor, B Ray, you know, as an editor, when you cutting something, you got to have a lock shot.
Yeah.
And she's doing it. Yeah, so she's doing it in every city on every live show. So I think Beyonce should be in her own kind of place, because I feel like she's the female Michael Jackson for what she's done, how long her career sustained. She started in the group, she went solo, got bigger solo than she was in her group, even though the group was huge, just like the Jackson 5. And and even when new females coming out, just like Michael Jackson, new male artists, new women coming out, none of them have been able to topple B in all these years. None of them been able to be like, oh, she, you know, they kept trying, oh, she the next Beyonce, or she gonna take the crown, and be almost 40 something. They ain't been able to do it yet. So yeah, I think she's like cemented her place. I think she cemented where she is in the game.
And that's another example of that generalship that I was talking about with Mike, because with her, this concept with Lemonade and the joint where she had the marching band that Janae was in
Formation,
Formation and shit like that. It's like, these are concepts, you know what I'm saying? These are full-blown concepts. They're not just
vision.
So there's a whole tour and packaging and visuals and all that built around all her music, even the country album and shit. You know, she's very intentional with her shit, and a lot of the innovation comes from within, you know what I'm saying? So those are different types of artists. They just built different. They cut from a different cloth. Excuse me, when it comes to mastering their musical universe or their entertainment universe. It ain't even just music. She acts, she's done music, done movies, and, you know, produced shit and these videos, and it's just like, I don't know, man. It's a different kind of artist that has that kind of capability across the board to do them all well. Not just
that vision to follow through. Haynes said even Lemonade had me like, leave his ass, girl. But I do Porsche. I think B is 1-on-1 as well. Cause I don't think we've seen nothing like that from a female solo artist since maybe Diana Ross.
Yeah. What's her name was kind of getting there, Rihanna.
Yeah, Rihanna was getting it, but I don't think Rihanna wanted that. Like, I think Rihanna likes where it's at, the way it is for her. Like, she like, I'm cool. Now. Like, I don't think she wanted that. I think Beyonce wanted that. Like, I think Beyonce wanted to be in the Michael Jackson Prince conversation. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, V-Ray, it's that vision to have like Michael Jackson did Bad, and then the whole album, and then the Moonwalker, and the tour, and then the whole tie-in. Like that's that vision that a lot of artists don't have, and to be able to do that, follow through, and do it masterfully with videos like Smooth Criminal, another iconic. Like you forget about the amount of iconic videos Michael had, where it's just like people still imitate Smooth Criminal. Like we just saw Victoria Monet kind of do Smooth Criminal mixed with Janet Jackson's All Right on her new song All Right in the Soul Train or the BET Awards. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's still they're still touching artists to this day, and I think that's a testament. So hey man, thank everybody for joining. This was a great conversation, great show, great participation from our audience, man. I love it when we got people in comments like this. Make sure y'all let everybody know, man. Wild Bunch presents Wild Thoughts on Wednesdays. And get other people to join in and we talk about more of this culture stuff. And like I said, as the election goes, we'll continue to talk about that. But we also love talking about this kind of stuff too, like the MJ Chris Brown and just cultural music stuff that's happening in the zeitgeist. So Steph said, do we get a super group tonight? I guess we have to, Steph, since you asked, we got to do a super group. All right, let me pull something. I feel like Johnny Carson. Okay, well, since we're talking about Michael Jackson and Chris, give me your super group with singers that are also good dancers. That's a good one, right, Steph? Super group with singers that are also great dancers. Can we get a Michael? So, Chloe, this is the problem with doing a Michael Jackson tribute show. It is so hard to duplicate Michael Jackson songs live without Michael Jackson. And if you don't do it right, you just come off sounding corny as hell. There's not a lot of Michael Jackson songs that you could pull off live without that vocal or those specific instrumentation. Because you think of like, you try to play like we play Rock With You and we don't even sing it. We play Rock With You and it's instrumental. You know what I mean? Because the vocal is so you can't certain stuff you can't touch.
But the audience will jump their ass in there and sing the whole joint because it's iconic.
Yeah. But like, you ain't finna have me looking crazy out here trying to sing. My ass said, with the sun done, with the sun done. We can't. Only Mike can get away with that. Mike the only one. All right, I'll start. Super group with singers that can dance. Of course, I'm gonna start with Mike and Chris, and I'm gonna make mine like a co-ed group, right? So I'm gonna do Mike, Chris, Sierra, and Janet. Yeah, okay. Chloe said Tiana Taylor, Sierra, and Carrie Hilson. That'll be a dope group. That's a cool little group right there.
All right, I would say Sierra, Usher, Bruno Mars, and maybe Neo. If we're not including Michael Jackson and Chris Brown in the group.
That's a great one, V-Ray, because I think Neo is an underrated pick when it comes to dancing. So that's dope. Stephanie said overall, super Usher, Chris, Sierra, MJ. Who's that before Beyonce? Usher, Chris, Sierra, Michael Jackson. Oh, Neo. Yeah, was that supposed to be Neo, Steph? Neo and Beyonce. First of all, you talking about sold out shows for years to come.
Yeah, riots and shit.
$15,000 tickets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, she said voiceover says, I know, I got you, Steph. We be looking out. I got you. Rex, who your super group before we get out of here?
What? MJ. I guess Chris.
MJ, Chris. We talking about super group is singers who can dance. Any era.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
James Brown.
I was just about to say James Brown. James Brown and probably. You know what? I'm gonna go Elvis.
Oh, I'm not mad at that. All right, so Chloe said Beyonce, Janet, and Victoria Monet. That's a cold ass group. I like that, and they will sound sweet singing together. Those three vocals, that'd be great. All right, Pop, what's your super group? Any era? James Brown, Michael Jackson.
Jackie Wilson.
Ooh, Jackie Wilson.
One more I had. Sammy Davis.
And Sammy Davis Jr.
Damn.
Steph called it. She said, "Pop about to come with some golden oldies entertainment."
He ain't lying. Everybody got a fake. I got a knee replacement in that motherfucking group.
That's a cold ass group. Okay, so
In the heyday.
in the heyday, yeah. Shannon said Michael, Tina Turner, Sierra, and Usher. That's cold ass group.
That's a
I like
cold
that.
ass group. That's a
I'm not
cold
mad at
group.
that. Now that's entertaining.
Yeah. Most
Now,
definitely.
even though she don't dance that good, entertainment wise, maybe as a feature, I would sneak Missy Elliott in there because she's an incredible entertainer, man. Like her stage show, like she ain't a great dancer, but she danced good enough to where when she's doing a choreo with her dancers, like that shit is hot. Like I love watching Missy perform. You know what I mean?
Did you see her when she was here?
No, I didn't see her. I saw clips. Missy, Usher, and Janet. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Portia said Beyonce, Victoria Monet, and Chloe Bailey. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a crazy one. That's crazy.
Oh, CJ, you went? She said that show was fire. I know it was. Like Missy is, to me, Missy is another one who's underrated for how dope she is entertainment wise and the amount of hits that she had and her vision when it comes to videos.
Yeah.
Because to me, she was up there with Michael Jackson and Busta Rhymes when it comes to like video concepts.
Yeah.
Like she had crazy video concepts. She had iconic videos that people still imitate on TikTok. You know what I mean? So I just want to give a shout out to Missy because she's
and people still wearing the bubble suit for Halloween. So
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Still back on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
iconic.
Oh, that's a good one. Portia said Michael Jackson, Sammy Davis Jr., and Omarion. That's an irky jerky ass group right there. That's a lot. Okay, hold on. Haynes said old Bobby Brown, Usher, Beyonce, and Bruno.
Bobby, yeah.
Niggas forget about Bobby because you see him a little old and slow now, but niggas forget Bobby. It was Bobby, Janet, MJ at one point. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, MJ, Janet, Bobby. It was MJ, Janet, Bobby at one point. He was like right there with them. Sierra, Busta Rhymes, and Missy show was up. I know it was. Shannon said you right about Missy. Yeah, like I feel like Missy be doing some. She's killer. Yeah, Michael, Sammy, and Omarion. Omarion be killing. Like Omarion kill his live shows too.
Yeah.
Janet.
All right, Pop's got another one. Janet, Prince.
And
Okay, after this.
okay, and the James Brown girl, what's her name?
You said James Brown girl.
What's her name? Something Monet.
What's her name?
You know,
Not Victoria Monet, the other one.
The other one.
The girl who had the song Tightrope. She sings on Tightrope.
I seen her perform her ass off.
Y'all know she used to wear black and white all the time, black and white tuxedos all the time.
You talking about from Kansas City? Shit. She got the dirty.
Her name Monet too.
Yeah,
Dirty Computer album. Yeah, Janelle Monet. Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah, Janelle Monet. Yeah,
Janelle Monet. Yeah, this was a great show, guys. Fun as always. Tell Pops I said hello. Pops, Steph said what's happening. Pops said, hey, everybody. Yeah, Janelle Monet. Yeah, Janelle, because when she came out with Tightrope, she was cutting rug like on some James Brown shit.
Yeah.
she was really cutting rug on some James Brown. And anybody who, you know, if you haven't had a chance to listen to the Janelle Monet album, Dirty Computer, if you like Prince, that's a good album. And I know people like Prince for dancing. Yes. That little nigga used to be having a little dance break. If you watch his live concert show, Prince have his little dance break.
That nigga take his shirt off and get the dancing across the stage. If y'all ain't know,
he had to give a knee replacement because he was fucking doing all them dives off the piano into a split and all that shit.
And he was doing it in high heels. That's where he fucked his knees up.
Nigga.
Yeah, that too.
That nigga had on wedges. What you mean? What?
Yeah, man, this was a great show, man. Thank everybody in the comments. Those $25 shows at the Forum, man. Listen, I went to 2 of them, and I got to go backstage in one of them and kick it with Prince and the crew after one of those shows because my homegirl saw me in the audience, brought me up to the tables right by the stage, and then I knew the twins who danced with him. So the twins saw me from the stage and was like, "Oh, come to the after party." It was a great night. he would work the hell out of some high heel boots.
Yeah.
That little nigga be right. I'm like, how did he
That
even
nigga,
move like that in them
how the
boots?
hell is-
He was
hell?
4 foot. He was 4 foot
Look-
2 and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little
And he
nigga moving
probably
around in these
had
boots.
high heel versions of them little white hard shoes you have as a baby.
Yeah.
That nigga probably had some heels on back in them days and shit.
Yeah, man. So, all right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. Great show. We kept it below 2 hours tonight. Last 2 weeks we've been going like almost 3 hours. So we were hour 45 tonight. But thank everybody for joining us, man. Again, Wild Bunch presents Wild Thoughts. If there's something y'all want to talk about throughout the week too, y'all, make sure y'all hit me on my inbox or in my Instagram. And you know, because Stephanie will hit me like, hey, I want y'all to talk about blah blah blah. So we make sure we put on the deck. So if there's things y'all seen that's through the week that y'all want to talk about, put it on and we can add it as a topic for next week. Man, I appreciate all of y'all, all the love, all the comments. This has been fun. Wild Bunch out until next week. We got some shows coming up. We'll let y'all know when, you know, once we get the dates locked in, what the shows are. And make sure y'all go follow us on our Instagram at Wild Bunch. All right.
Hey man, we got to do that. We got to do that Wild Bunch Unplugged show where we do our own catalog, like across all the albums. So I'm just putting that out there in front of the company and shit.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's it.
Yeah, we got to plan that out.
Yeah.
We got to plan that out.
That shit gonna be dope.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
From the day one shit. I mean, all the way back from Car Hop days.
From Car Hop, yeah, we got to do from Car Hop all the way
Walking
to
Back and all the new shit.
to the new album. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
Yeah, I got to
digress.
be
I'm
I'm
going
in
to bed.
All right, well, we'll see y'all next week. Until next time.
All right. Late.
Stop the world, let me off. I don't like this destination. I like a transfer to the express line. I gotta get off. Electric slide into the devil doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know when it is time. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. 1 star, would not recommend